A failed and ugly teenager enjoys his summer vacation alone at home when he is surprised by the arrival of a mysterious girl who asks him to hire her as a maid. Despite her admission that she used to work as a mercenary, he agrees to hire her and helps her adapt to her new life. The story begins with a young man named Hitoyoshi sleeping in his room like a pig amid a pile of trash. He wakes up to the sound of the doorbell, and when he goes to see who is there, he finds a girl carrying a large bag asking him to hire her as a maid. Hitoyoshi welcomes her and tries to tidy up the place as much as possible, apologizing for the mess caused by his parents' absence. When he sits down in front of her, he wonders if she is trying to deceive him or sell him something suspicious, so he decides to ask her some questions and then send her back where she came from. He asked her about the place where she had worked as a maid before coming here, and she told him frankly that she had been a mercenary and had carried out many assassinations for her former master, getting rid of people who were disloyal to him. She also told him that he was the one who had guided her to his place. Hitoyoshi was shocked by what he heard and thought it was a joke at first, but he quickly realized that she was not joking because of her facial expressions. He thought about sending her away quickly without upsetting her, and wondered if her former master was related to his family. She told him that she had served his grandmother, who was the second son of his wife's cousin's legitimate child. Hitoyoshi told her that it was just a distant relationship after all, and when he realized that she was angry, he tried to change the subject before he met his end. He asked her about her specialty in assassinations, and she went out to the garden and demonstrated her skills with knives and daggers like Katarina from League of Legends, leaving Hitoyoshi stunned and unable to control the trembling fear in his body. He then told her in a trembling voice that he had no intention of assassinating anyone and that he did not know her former master, which made him unable to employ her. The girl felt frustrated and apologized for disturbing him, then left quietly. Hitoyoshi felt relieved and thought it was just a dream. And on the other hand, the girl was walking with her bag, wondering why she had been so excited while talking to him, and she didn't know where to go now. Then she found Hitoyoshi calling her after she dropped her earring to give it back to her. As he ran like a fool, he didn't notice the truck that was about to run him over. The girl rushed towards him at super speed and managed to save him before the truck reached him. She apologized to him as she had never saved someone's life before and felt confused because of her rapid heartbeat. When Hitoyoshi gave her the earring, she was about to continue on her way, but he thought he could make use of her by having her help him clean the house before his parents returned. When she returned home with him, he found that her bag contained knives of all shapes and sizes. He told her that he wanted her to help him clean, not in the sense that she understood as a mercenary, but to clean the house of the trash bags scattered everywhere. He began to explain to her what he wanted her to do as a housekeeper and thought that she might not be a bad person after all, since she had saved his life. The girl wondered if he would hire her after she took care of cleaning the house, and when he gave her the cleaning tools, she ended up misusing them and surprised Hitoyoshi with the fact that she knew nothing about working as a maid. After she slipped up, he told her frankly that she was just clumsy. The girl realized that it was impossible to hire her after that series of failures. When she apologized to him, he gave her a towel to dry herself and told her that it was his fault for asking her to do things she was not used to doing before. He did not mind if she started learning, and they worked together to clean the house. In the evening, they finished cleaning the house successfully, and he thanked the girl for helping him and motivating him to clean the house and make it tidy. When he looked at the clock, he realized that he had focused too much on cleaning the house and forgotten to eat lunch. When he asked the girl if she knew how to cook, she responded with silence, so he allowed her to use the bathroom until he finished preparing the food. While Hitoyoshi was waiting for her, the girl finished showering and went to the kitchen to help him prepare the food. Hitoyoshi wanted to make it easier for her so she wouldn't cause a mess, but she told him she could do it without help, as using knives was the only thing she was good at. She chopped the cabbage in the style of John Wick. He told her that they would prepare miso soup with tonkatsu, and she told him that her memory was poor when it came to food, as it was something obvious and unimportant that was eaten only to survive. Hitoyoshi was eager to change her mind about food and told her that her life would change after she ate tonkatsu. He began to tell her about his upbringing and that it was an invention belonging to the famous Katsuda restaurant known for its side dishes. He was surprised by her lackluster reaction to the matter and thought that she might become as enthusiastic as he was after eating the food. When they sat down at the table, he remembered that he still did not know her name, so she told him that she did not have a name, as her mistress called her whatever she saw fit. Hitoyoshi told her that he was bad at choosing names, so he would just call her Miss Maid. The girl felt the desire to have a new name from him, even though she had not cared about this matter before. When they began to eat, she found that she still could not tell whether the food tasted good or bad, but the difference this time was that she felt warm eating with him. Then she was surprised when Hitoyoshi told her that he had prepared a room for her to stay in for the night, and she remembered her previous miserable life as a prostitute. Hitoyoshi interrupted her thoughts by giving her some sauce to put on her food, and when she did so and continued eating, she felt the delicious taste for the first time and could not hide her expressions. In the middle of the night, Hitoyoshi woke up after having a strange dream and felt hungry, so he thought about eating a cup of ramen. When he left the room, he was surprised to find someone in his kitchen. Then he remembered what the girl had told him about her previous job and thought that she had murdered someone and brought the body here. When he entered the kitchen, he found her secretly eating the sauce, and he felt relieved that what he had been thinking was just his imagination. He realized that she was hungry like him, so she told him that she wanted to taste the sauce again before she left the next day. Hitoyoshi poured her a cup of sauce, and when they started eating together, he noticed that she only liked the taste of the sauce. He was surprised when he asked her if he had had a scary dream while he was sleeping. She replied that on her way to the kitchen, she heard him moaning and thought someone was chasing him, so she got ready to defend him, but when she entered, she saw that he was fast asleep and having a bad dream. Hitoyoshi felt embarrassed to be seen in this state and wondered if he had said anything in his sleep. She told him that he had been calling for his mother, then added that she had had a strange dream herself, in which the tonkatsu sauce had spoken to her and told her that it would not run out no matter how much she ate. She then told him that this was the first time she had had a dream that was different from her usual dreams of bloodshed and assassinations, so she didn't feel anything, but this time she felt like she wanted the dream to continue, which was why she felt sad that he had had a nightmare while sleeping and she couldn't help him. Hitoyoshi felt that she was a good girl despite the nature of her work, and he told her that he had this dream from time to time, in which he saw his mother walking away with another child, and he kept calling her in vain. He said that when he was little, he used to wake up crying and could only fall asleep when he laid his head on his mother's lap. She was surprised when the girl offered him to rest his head on her lap, and he told her that he used to do that when he was a child, but now he was a teenager and had no right to do so. However, the girl felt that he did not want to get close to her because she was a murderer born only to shed blood. After Hitoyoshi noticed her cold expression, he had no choice but to put his head on her, which broke her negative thoughts about herself and made her feel the warmth he felt, and he was finally able to sleep again after having a bad dream. The girl thought about the feeling she had when she was with Hitoyoshi, which was like facing dozens of enemies at once, feeling her heart beating wildly and the heat flowing through her body. She remembered when she saved him from the truck accident and realized that her body had moved on its own at that moment. She began to wonder why she was acting so unusually. The next day, Hitoyoshi woke up and was surprised to find that she had packed a lot of trash into smaller bags. She told him that she was cutting it into small pieces so that it wouldn't take up space, and the trash now took up half the usual space. Hitoyoshi expressed his gratitude to her for helping him make the house a better place. Then he was surprised to find a box in front of his door containing a pet animal, with a note on the box saying, "Please adopt me." The girl noticed a piece of paper inside the box, and when she read it, she found that it was a letter from an unknown person who had bought this animal by mistake, thinking it was a different breed, and when he realized that it was too big to keep, he decided to leave it near the house of a wealthy family. Hitoyoshi felt angry at this selfish behavior and wondered what would have happened to the animal if he couldn't keep it. He had to take it inside the house so that it wouldn't die from the heat, and he didn't know anyone who would want to adopt a pet. The maid warned him of the consequences of saving the animal's life out of pity and told him that the animal had a survival instinct that would enable it to stay alive no matter what the circumstances. However, she was surprised when Hitoyoshi asked her if she had saved its life yesterday out of pity. He then told her that human instinct motivates them when they see a living creature in danger, and that he understands very well what it feels like to live alone. He decided to take the animal inside and found it to be friendly and cute, so he offered to carry it for the maid, but she preferred to back away. Hitoyoshi thought she was afraid of dogs, and she felt embarrassed after he exposed her secret, but she tried her best to overcome her fear and touch the dog. Hitoyoshi asked her why she was so afraid of dogs, and she told him that her former teacher had left her on a mountain slope full of dogs as part of her training, which caused her to have a psychological crisis. Dogs in general. Hitoyoshi was confused because he had intended to adopt him so that he would not live alone, and he told her that it would be difficult to find another adopter for him. The maid decided to overcome her fear and pick up the dog, and she succeeded in picking him up, but she could not do more than that. Hitoyoshi was curious to know what it was about dogs that frightened her, so she told him that she was afraid of its claws, fangs, and sharp eyes. He told her that when he looked at this dog, it felt like a big piece of mochi. While they were talking, the dog gently bit her finger, causing her body to automatically prepare to defend itself. Hitoyoshi tried to calm her down and convince her that he meant to play with her, but she was about to throw him away, so Hitoyoshi took him from her. After that, the maid apologized to him for being so pitiful, and when the dog bit Hitoyoshi's finger too, he realized that its teeth were still growing, so he continued to pet it, then decided that the three of them should go to the pet store to have it examined. In the evening, they bought some things and food for the dog. The maid chose the items herself and was particularly taken with a distinctive red collar. Hitoyoshi expressed his gratitude to her for helping him take care of the dog. The maid told him that he was a kind person, unlike anyone she had ever met before in her world, where failure was completely unacceptable in her previous job. This was why she felt a great distance between them when he treated her kindly. Also, everything he asked her to do was something she was trying for the first time compared to what she was used to doing, so she ended up failing. Then she wondered how she could become useful to him, and remembered her terrible past when she was fighting for a few places like musical chairs. Regardless of age or gender, all one needs to survive is skill. Then she added that she could have been a better person if she had realized earlier that the world contained such warmth, which she felt with him, and she wondered if this bright world would accept someone like her. Hitoyoshi told her that what he understood from what she said was that she wanted to quit her previous job and become a normal girl. The maid was surprised by the idea of giving up the only thing she was good at. She then joined Hitoyoshi to watch the sunset with him and wondered if she could find a sense of belonging outside the framework of bloodshed. Hitoyoshi admitted to her that he was afraid when she first came to his house, but after spending some time with her, he realized he was wrong and discovered that she was a good girl. The maid then wondered what she should do to become a normal girl. He told her that he had noticed her constant worry about making mistakes, and told her that it was natural for a person to make mistakes when trying things for the first time. Over time, the maid began to adapt to normal life and behave normally without resorting to violence and the use of force. While she was preparing food, she felt that the cabbage would taste better with some sauce added, but she was surprised when she sensed the dog behind her and returned to playing the role of John Wick, thinking that this was not just a dog. But after looking closely, she realized that he was starving, so she put food out for him and was surprised that she could understand his feelings so easily, and that this was part of being normal. Then she thought of petting his head while he ate, but she backed off after Hitoyoshi returned from outside. He noticed that the dog loved to eat a lot, and then it occurred to him to name him Age Mochitaro, after Mochi. When he saw that the maid had quickly adapted to the situation, he decided to help her with the cooking, but he found Age Mochitaru clinging to his leg. The maid offered to take care of him so that he could finish preparing the food. Although she still saw him as a ferocious dog, she wanted to do everything that would make her just a normal girl. Finally, she was able to gently pat the dog on the head and break through her fear. When she held him in her arms, she felt that he was warm and comfortable, and she felt embarrassed that she had been afraid of something like this. In the evening, she sat down to eat with Hitoyoshi, and she liked the sauce as usual. Hitoyoshi decided to reward her for getting along with Age Mochitaro, and told her to ask him for anything she wanted. She asked him to give her a name, as he had done with the dog. He was confused about what name to choose, so he asked her about her date of birth. She told him that she didn't remember the exact day, but she had been told that she was born in winter, so he decided to name her Yuki, which means snow in Japanese. The maid remembered that they used to call her Shoi because she was a cold-blooded killer, but Hitoyoshi quickly took her mind off her dark thoughts and told her that he loved snow because it was pure white and beautiful. She remembered her childhood when she loved to play in the snow and make snowmen. Yuki realized that Hitoyoshi was the reason she felt warm since she came here, and the reason for the symptoms she felt inside her body. She felt that if she spent more time with him, he might find the answer to her questions. She then expressed her gratitude to him for giving her a wonderful name. A few days later, Yuki was taking care of Age Mochitaru in the courtyard when she found Hitoyoshi asking her for help with something. She saw that he was holding a pin shaped like a lighter and wanted to pierce his ear to wear earrings like the eunuchs. He told her that he wanted to pierce his ear like his friend had done, but he couldn't do it himself. When she grabbed the pin, he asked her to do it quickly so that he wouldn't feel any pain. She hesitated and refused to hurt him, surprising him that she was afraid to pierce his ear when she was used to tearing people's bodies apart for the sake of. While they were talking, someone knocked on the door, so Yuki went to answer it and found that it was just a little girl with purple hair who looked somewhat like Hitoyoshi, so she realized that she was his younger sister. The younger sister, Riko, expressed her admiration for her brother's cute dog and beautiful maid. She scolded him for not telling her about Yuki, even though they had been writing to each other all the time. He told her that he didn't want their mother to find out somehow and worry about him, so he just told his father that he was going to hire a housekeeper. Riko couldn't hide her admiration for Yuki's cuteness, so Hitoyoshi told her that he knew she would be annoyed when she saw Yuki. Riko introduced herself to Yuki and was surprised when Yuki told her her name and that Hitoyoshi had given it to her. What shocked her even more was when Yuki told her that she had previously worked as a mercenary, so she didn't have a specific name. Riko found Yuki to be the perfect girl, being both strong and witty at the same time. She then took out her notebook and asked for her autograph, then whispered to Hitoyoshi that she looked like a lady from the upper class and not a mercenary. After Yuki finished signing, they were surprised to see her handwriting and the way she wrote her name, like children who were just learning to write. She told them that her strength lies in verbal communication, as she can speak 12 languages fluently and has not learned the art of writing. Riko had an idea to do research on Yuki and make it her mission for this summer. She asked her to show off her skills as a mercenary. Hitoyoshi wondered why she wanted to see something like that, so she told him that she wanted to do research for her school on the beautiful maid's combat skills. Yuki agreed to help her with her conductor research. Riko ended up becoming Yuki's prey after she placed an apple on her head, and her life became dependent on Yuki's accuracy. Yuki quickly managed to aim her knife directly at the apple, and Hitoyoshi almost lost consciousness from the intensity of the tension. Riko expressed her admiration for her skills and began asking questions and taking notes. While they were talking, everyone heard Riko's stomach growl, which made her feel embarrassed and admit that she was starving. After that, Yuki started preparing lunch, but it wasn't enough to satisfy Riko, as she didn't consider cabbage rolls to be a meal, so the three of them ended up having lunch at a nearby restaurant. While they were enjoying themselves, Riko's eyes fell on a sign indicating that the summer festival was about to begin. Riko was excited to attend the festival, and Hitoyoshi tried to convince Yuki to accompany them. He quickly succeeded after telling her that there was a cart selling cookies with her favorite sauce. After they arrived at the festival, they began to try out various activities together. When they arrived at the cookie cart, Yuki was excited to eat her favorite sauce and quickly began to eat the cookies voraciously, which made the cart owner happy, and he decided to give her an extra serving for free while Riko went to buy her a drink quickly. Hitoyoshi was worried that he would lose Riko in the crowd, so he decided to wait for her near the store. While he was sitting with Yuki, he noticed that she was enjoying the festival atmosphere, so he asked her if she had ever been to a festival before. She told him that in the past, festivals meant that she would assassinate someone at the main event, while everyone was busy watching the fireworks. Hitoyoshi realized that she had suffered greatly in the past. Suddenly, fireworks lit up the sky in front of them, and it was the first time Yuki noticed how beautiful they were. Riko returned to them and gave her a drink, and the three of them sat watching the fireworks. After the festival ended, the three of them were on their way home when suddenly a thief appeared, driving his motorcycle at full speed toward them. When Yuki noticed that he was about to run over Riko, she rushed toward her and carried her away. Riko couldn't believe that someone other than her father had carried her like a princess, while Hitoyoshi felt angry at the thief and wished for him to receive receive divine punishment. Yuki decided to grant his wish and went after the thief. Yuki climbed onto the roof of one of the buildings and began jumping between the roofs like a ninja, while the brothers followed her from below. Then they saw her transform into a ballerina and stop the thief by using her knives to puncture the bicycle tire. She approached him with the remaining knives, and Hitoyoshi was worried that she intended to take his life, but she just snapped her fingers at his helmet and told him before leaving that this was divine punishment. She then told Hitoyoshi that the effort she had put into catching the thief had made her hungry, so they decided to go buy more biscuits with sauce after that. Riko was happy that she was able to write down many notes about Yuki, so she asked Yuki if doing research was something everyone usually did, and he told her that it was specific to schools and academies. When Riko asked her if she had ever attended school before, she suddenly received a message that made her want to hurry home. Hitoyoshi felt annoyed by her excessive movement, while Yuki thought she was a cute girl and expressed her desire to enroll in school so she could continue living her life as a normal girl. Hitoyoshi realized that he still didn't know her age, then told her that enrolling in school was the best option if she wanted to make new friends. After the summer vacation ended, the new school year began, and Hitoyoshi felt anxious about leaving Yuki alone at home. Suddenly, he saw his friend Taiga heading towards him and telling him that a beautiful maid had appeared in the area. Hitoyoshi realized that she had caught the attention of everyone in town and pretended not to know her. Then Kobachi told him that he had seen her in the library before. While they were talking, the teacher entered to start the class and told everyone that there was a new transfer student in their class. Hitoyoshi was shocked when he saw that the student was Yuki. Yuki claimed to be Hitoyoshi's cousin so that he would not reveal her secret as a former maid or mercenary. She then went and sat in the seat directly in front of him, which made him feel confused, especially after she called him master in front of everyone. After school, the two met with Riko, and he realized that Yuki's enrollment in his school was her doing. She told him that Yuki was a quick learner, as she was able to do everything she told her to do after 3 days. Hitoyoshi asked her several questions, including how she was able to transfer to his school, specifically to his class, how they came up with the idea of being cousins, and why she didn't tell him about it before today. Yuki told him that she was able to enroll in the school through her secret network of connections, and that Riko was the one who told her to pretend they were cousins so that she would be easily accepted. She added that the reason she kept it a secret was that Riko told her it would be more fun that way. She then asked if he was angry with her, and he told her that he was still surprised but welcomed her as his classmate and looked forward to studying with her. The next day, Yuki was surprised to see all the students rushing out of class like American football players to get katsudon bread, so she told Hitoyoshi that she wanted to eat it. He told her that it was so rare that she had to rush to get it as soon as she heard the bell ringing at the end of class. He then began to explain to her that Katsuda's shop closes early, so the school prepares items based on Katsuda bread every Wednesday, and the most popular among them is Katsuda bread filled with sauce. Although it was impossible for her to arrive at the food court in time, she decided to go and vowed to get Katsuda bread in time. Then she used the window to jump onto the roof and started running along the fence after spotting the food court. Hitoyoshi felt that he would get into trouble because of her, but he understood her feelings, as one cannot control oneself in front of one's favorite food, and no one can stop them at that moment. Then he found that the first wave of students had gone out to the outdoor courtyard, and he realized that Yuki would get in their way with her sudden appearance and expose her. Before he could decide what to do, he found that Yuki had already arrived at the store and ordered bread and a katsu sandwich, but she ended up returning to Hitoyoshi without getting the katsu sandwich after the cook told her that she was only allowed to take one type of katsu food. Hitoyoshi overlooked the matter and accepted the regular food she had bought for him. When she offered him her bread, he refused, so she wondered if it was appropriate for her to eat it alone. Hitoyoshi didn't mind and told her that she had earned the right to have this food thanks to her efforts. Then she surprised him by giving him a small piece of her bread and wanting to feed him herself, so he had no choice but to eat it, feeling embarrassed. In the evening, Hitoyoshi was surprised that Riko still had no intention of returning home even after the summer vacation was over. She tells him that she is still here for Yuki, who needs an older sister to spend time with, and that she understands how she feels, as there was a time when she needed an older sister so much that she tried to deceive herself into thinking of him as her older brother. Then she expressed her excitement when she imagined that he would marry Yuki one day and that everything would be perfect. She told him that she was sure Yuki was in love with him, which shocked Hitoyoshi, and he refused to believe it for a moment. Then he remembered when she fed him, and he didn't notice anything romantic in her body language. Riko felt angry at his foolishness and told him that this moment was full of love and that they were closer than ever to the idea of marriage. While Riko was talking enthusiastically about marriage, they were surprised when Yuki joined them and asked if anyone was getting married soon. Hitoyoshi was shocked when Riko told her that she had fallen in love with him, and Yuki told her that she liked him, and Hitoyoshi ended up almost fainting from embarrassment. After that, the three of them sat down and chatted, and Riko wondered why Yuki didn't wear makeup. Yuki told her that in the past she used to think that her appearance was useless, so Riko told her that she thought her face was unattractive, which made her want to buy a lot of makeup when she grew up to make herself look pretty. She was surprised when Yuki told her that she liked her face because it was cute and expressive. She told her that she had only ever heard such compliments from her parents, and wondered if she could become as beautiful as her in the future. Yuki told her that she realized her skin had become smoother since she discovered the invention of tonkatsu sauce and advised her to try it. When Riko ate her food after adding the sauce, she liked the taste, while Hitoyoshi felt that they had become like sisters after quickly getting used to each other. When Riko noticed his distraction, she thought he was imagining how their relationship would develop after he married Yuki, which made him blush with embarrassment embarrassment, while Yuki was surprised by the idea of marriage, as it was unfamiliar to her. Riko told her that her brother would have the right to marry when he turned 18. While they were talking, someone was watching them closely. A few days later, Hitoyoshi sat in class, lost in thought, feeling confused that Riko had left him alone with Yuki over the weekend. As he dozed off during class, the teacher became angry and threw a piece of chalk at him. Yuki then used her secret skills to split the chalk in half, causing it to pierce his eyes. Everyone was shocked by the sudden split in the chalk. Hitoyoshi left the classroom, feeling his way like a blind man until he reached the school clinic. When he entered, he was surprised to find a new nurse instead of the usual one, who told him her name was Nita. He didn't pay much attention to this and told her what had happened to his eyes. After sitting on the bed, he found her appearance suspicious for a nurse. Then he found her asking him if Yuki was his friend or girlfriend, so he pretended that she was his cousin. And then he found Nita unable to control herself from laughing so hard. She then told him that they didn't look anything alike to be related. She began examining his eyes and told him that he had no serious damage. While he was rubbing his eyes, she surprised him by taking off her jacket and approaching him maliciously. Hitoyoshi kept backing away until he was lying on the bed. She moved closer to him and asked if he wanted her to examine anything else. He felt like he had suddenly become the hero of a romantic comedy anime. Before anything could happen, Yuki burst into the clinic to check on him. Hitoyoshi rushed towards her and hid behind her like a child, while Yuki sensed that something was wrong with Nita, who claimed that what had happened was just a joke and mocked him, as he seemed like a cowardly hamster to her. When Nita wanted to give him eye drops, he hesitated to approach her, and then he was surprised when Yuki hugged him and told Nita sharply to stay away from him. He remembered what his sister had told him about falling in love with him and was surprised by the fact that she felt jealous. After they left the clinic, Yuki apologized for causing him trouble and told him to be careful of the nurse, as she was basically a mercenary like her. On the other hand, Nita decided to crush Yuki's fake family after realizing that she was trying to live a normal life. It turns out that Nita's real name is Grace, and she is a girl who aspires to surround herself with handsome young men and spend the rest of her life living in luxury on the island of Santorini. So she ended up working as a mercenary and succeeded in carrying out many assassinations. Now Grace sees that she is very close to achieving her dream as she pursues Yuki and intends to carry out this mission as her last and live the rest of her life in luxury, enjoying the money she will earn after Yuki's death. In the middle of the night, Hitoyoshi was suffering from insomnia because Yuki was standing next to his bed and staring at him constantly, fearing that Grace would come after him without warning. She told him that if he fell asleep for a moment, it would be enough for Grace to take his life. She added that she intended to become his personal guard and gather more information about Grace. He told her that at this rate he would never be able to sleep and asked her to find another way besides staring at him. Yuki ended up sleeping next to him on the same bed, which made his situation worse. He told her that he was worried about her because it was obvious that Grace would go after her and not him. She felt nervous that she would be attacked while she was sleeping, even though she could easily fight back. However, she thought that Grace wasn't stupid enough to attack her directly. Hitoyoshi wondered if Yuki was that strong, while Yuki felt that her past was haunting her wherever she went and promised Hitoyoshi that she would protect him no matter what. Hitoyoshi felt angry that all he could do was worry about her and told her that he didn't want to lose her. Then he felt the heat inside the room and decided to open the window, but Yuki opened it for him, which made him feel uncomfortable and realized that this is how things work with important people who have bodyguards. Yuki was surprised when she smelled her favorite sauce and thought someone was having a midnight snack, but she quickly realized it was a trap set by Grace after she turned around and found her clutching Hitoyoshi's face. Grace mocked Yuki for losing her skills as a mercenary and becoming so distracted by her fake family that she was making rookie mistakes after being nicknamed the White Wolf by the Nine Dragons organization. Yuki was about to attack her, so she warned her that she would gouge out Hitoyoshi's eye before she could reach her. Then she was surprised by Yuki's terrifying aura, like that of Gunfrex, as she told her that she would crush her if she harmed Hitoyoshi. Grace realized that she was still scary despite her decline in power and told her that she had come here in pursuit of her as she intended to get rid of her. She decided to use Hitoyoshi as a means of pressure because she knew very well that she would not be able to defeat her relying on her strength alone. Before leaving with Hitoyoshi, she told her to meet her at the school at 2 a.m. to settle their scores. Yuki realized that her past was clinging to her and that she could be nothing but a mercenary who spilled blood. Then she began to blame herself for getting Hitoyoshi into trouble and thought that if she had not met him, his life would not be in danger. She remembered what her teacher always told her, that she was created to be a merciless killer, and then she decided to take Grace's life and leave the country after ensuring Hitoyoshi's safety so that she could return to her former life without causing trouble for anyone. On the other hand, Grace tied Hitoyoshi up like a slave in the middle of the school's soccer field, waiting for Yuki to arrive. She told him that his worthless life was now in her hands and that she could crush him effortlessly. She then asked him how he felt about his life being endangered because of Yuki, and if that made him hate her. He replied that he was afraid but confident in Yuki's ability to protect him as she had promised. She grew bored and told him that she didn't care about his life as she was primarily after Yuki, but he might accidentally meet his demise during their clash. Hitoyoshi was surprised to hear her mention Yuki's old name, as she thought he was living with her without knowing her true identity. He told her that all he knew about her was that she was a former mercenary, and she told him that she was not just a mercenary but a monster in human form. She then began to tell him about Yuki's horrific past and how she had devoted her life to merciless bloodshed until she became famous among her peers and became the fourth member member of the most powerful mercenary organization in the world, the Nine Dragons organization, and was nicknamed the White Wolf. She went on to say that this organization was behind all the incidents that had shaken the world throughout history. Although it was a powerful organization, there were many groups that opposed it, so they aimed to take down Yuki, one of the organization's members, in order to gain a great reputation among criminals and fulfill their dream. Hitoyoshi pretended that he knew nothing about the girl she was talking about and told her that the Yuki he knew was a naive teenage high school student who loved tonkatsu sauce. Grace felt angry and told him that she couldn't recognize her because of the drastic change that had come over her, so she had been watching her for 3 weeks. Then she added that she thought about assassinating them while they were sitting on the balcony talking about marriage, and she realized that there was something wrong with Hitoyoshi that made him calm in such a dangerous situation, as he was talking to his kidnapper comfortably without fear, and that this was what caused Yuki's icy heart to melt and become soft. Then she thought that all these things were to her advantage, as people become weaker when they are concerned with protecting someone else, so she decided to exploit her weakness to ensure victory. At 2 in the morning, Yuki went to the school and found Grace waiting for her. She rushed towards her without hesitation, while Grace started shooting at her and managed to hit her with explosive bullets. She thought she had easily defeated her, but Yuki emerged from the smoke and tried to stab her with a knife. Grace quickly blocked her and retreated, feeling angry that she was still alive and underestimating her by confronting her directly. Then she began to play mind games with her and accused her of deliberately hiding her identity because she still felt remorse about her past life, and threatened her that if Hitoyoshi discovered her true identity, she would not be able to stay here. Yuki ignored her words and told her that they had to end their fight quickly so that Hitoyoshi wouldn't stay up any longer. As he had school the next day, Grace was shocked when she called him her master and wondered why she respected him so much. She then decided to provoke Yuki and approached Hitoyoshi, warning her that he might lose his arms if she didn't follow her orders. Suddenly, Hitoyoshi found himself surrounded by laser snipers aimed at his 4 limbs, threatening to leave him a torso for the rest of his life. Grace was surprised when she found Yuki rushing towards her again without thinking, so she decided to take advantage of the opportunity and start shooting at Hitoyoshi. She used her knives to deflect the bullets before they reached him, and ended up with her smartphone destroyed after one of Yuki's knives pierced it. She ended up standing in front of Yuki, unable to do anything, and when she pointed her gun directly at Hitoyoshi, Yuki kicked her in the back and knocked her to the ground. Grace thought she had no choice but to run away. She then told Yuki that no matter what she did, she would never be able to live a normal life as she wanted, as she would always be the ruthless mercenary that everyone knew her to be. Even if she got rid of her now, many who aspired to make a name for themselves by taking her down would come after her. Yuki told her that she was right, and that she used to think that the world of crime was the only place she belonged, but she had decided to give up the idea of bloodshed and taking lives now that the situation had changed, and she would not allow anyone to die because of her. She then vowed to devote her power to protecting the normal life she had chosen for herself. Grace realized that she was no longer the murderer known as the White Wolf, while Yuki freed Hitoyoshi from his bonds. Grace realized that Yuki was just a naive and stubborn woman who would not stop until she got what she wanted, and that she would have taken her life long ago if she had wanted to. She felt relieved that she was still alive and found this duo interesting. After that, Hitoyoshi and Yuki left for home, and he told her that he was sure she would come to rescue him. Yuki apologized for putting him in danger and blamed herself, telling him that she was willing to leave and disappear from his life to ensure his safety. He approached her and asked her to teach him some self-defense techniques so that he could take care of himself when things got bad, and so that he could offer her a little help in the future. Yuki felt grateful to him for still accepting her presence in his life despite everything that had happened. One day, Yuki was playing volleyball in gym class at school, and everyone was impressed with her skills, while Hitoyoshi sat far away, confident that she had not yet used all her abilities. Hitoyoshi couldn't help thinking about what had happened to him when he was kidnapped by Grace. He still felt excited and remembered what she had told him about Yuki. Then he started searching the browser for the name of the organization she belonged to. Suddenly, he found Yuki looking at him and smiling, which caused everyone to turn their attention to him. He felt confused and at the same time almost received a severe blow to his face from the ball. Grace intervened just in time and caught it before it reached his face. He was shocked when he realized that she had become the head of the sports department at the school alongside Yuki, which would make him the center of attention everywhere. Hitoyoshi couldn't recognize her at first glance after she returned to her original form, so she introduced herself to him and told him that she would be like an older sister to him from now on. Yuki felt resentful that she was still haunting them. Grace said that she loved fun and entertainment and found her story with Hitoyoshi interesting after she devoted herself to serving a spoiled boy and decided to retire from everything related to the world of crime. Then Grace thought of making a deal with Yuki and told her that she did not intend to get rid of them, and that her level of hostility towards them was 0, and that she intended to give her as much information as she wanted. For 3 months, Yuki agreed to the deal, and Hitoyoshi asked if she trusted her intentions. She told him not to worry, as mercenaries do not take lives without reason, and Grace would gain nothing from harming him, knowing that she was no match for him. Grace told them that she would do nothing but watch them quietly and cautiously, but things quickly changed after she revealed herself in the gym and got overly close to Hitoyoshi. Yuki was distracted by her while playing volleyball, causing her to smash the ball with all her strength and tear a hole in the net. She almost collapsed after making this terrible mistake, but was surprised when her teammates gathered around her and expressed their admiration for her strength. After that, she sat down to have lunch with Hitoyoshi, feeling frustrated by her grave mistake. When he asked her what happened during the game, she told him that she knew very well that Grace Grace did not intend to hurt him, but she felt isolated whenever she saw him with someone from the criminal world. She then wondered if this was normal or if she had a problem, while Hitoyoshi was unable to respond due to the shock of realizing that she was jealous of him. The next day, Hitoyoshi woke up to find her excited after successfully washing clothes after a month of training and making many serious mistakes. In the evening, Hitoyoshi sat thinking about what they would have for dinner, as the only thing they had in the refrigerator was cabbage. Yuki was excited to eat cabbage and tonkatsu, along with her favorite sauce. After that, they went to Katsuda restaurant to buy the sauce, and the old restaurant owner asked Yuki about it when she saw her staring intently at the boxes full of sauce. Hitoyoshi understood how she felt, as he used to feel his heart racing when he watched his favorite superhero show as a child, that this was a natural feeling. Yuki was surprised to see the old chef skillfully cutting tonkatsu, despite his old age and the trembling of his hands when holding the knife, and she wondered about the training he did to maintain his skill to such an extent that she suspected him of being a disguised mercenary. Then Hitoyoshi told the old lady that he was a big fan of the sauce they made, and when she told him that she was the one who made it, Yuki was stunned and began to regard her as a god for creating this miracle. She wanted to express her gratitude to her for creating this invention and told her that until recently she had not considered food to be delicious and enjoyable, but she quickly changed her mind after tasting her sauce for the first time, as she felt warm when eating the sauce on her food. The old woman told her that the warmth she felt was the result of the happiness in her heart, and because she was already happy, she was able to taste the sauce. Yuki realized that she had started to feel happy since she met Hitoyoshi, and told her that she was right. Suddenly, the old chef appeared out of nowhere behind her, and she was shocked that he had managed to sneak up behind her without her noticing, which made her feel that he was not an ordinary man at all. Then the lady offered her some fresh sauce that she had just prepared. Yuki was excited to try it, and as soon as the sauce touched her tongue, she began to see unicorns and rainbows. In the evening, she sat down to dinner with Hitoyoshi at home, and after they finished, she began washing the dishes and asked him to get some rest. Hitoyoshi sat browsing his phone, unable to stop thinking about Yuki. He couldn't imagine that she was a professional and ruthless mercenary whenever he saw how happy she was when doing the things she loved. He then searched for information about the organization she belonged to, but couldn't find anything. He thought about asking her himself about the 9 dragons, but decided against it, thinking she might refuse to talk about it, as she was trying hard to move on from her painful past. He decided to wait until she decided to share her past with him. Then he fell asleep while thinking about her, and he had a dream about his childhood after his parents separated, and his mother decided to take Riko to live with her while leaving him to live with his father. He cried and tried to catch up with her, but to no avail, until she disappeared from in front of him. After that, Hitoyoshi woke up and found himself in Yuki's arms crying. She told him that he had been muttering words in his sleep, which made her want to check on him. He immediately backed away and apologized to her because he had been having a strange dream. When she realized that he was dreaming about his mother as usual, she told him to rest his head on her so he could sleep deeply. He told her that he was fine, and while they were talking, his phone fell to the ground, and Yuki found that he was searching for her former organization. He couldn't deny it and admitted that he wanted to know more about it. She told him that she didn't know much about them either, as her teacher was the one who adopted her and brought her into the organization. Even after she became the youngest member of the organization, all she did was follow her teacher's orders. She added that she didn't know the names of the other members and didn't have the opportunity to talk to them. Nor was she interested in the others, because her priority at the time was to do her best to stay alive until she began to lose sight of the meaning of what she was doing, and her only fear became that her teacher would abandon her. She added that this was the reason she was unable to fully adapt to the life around her now, and that sometimes she felt as if she were still dreaming and had not yet woken up. But when she saw him, she was able to remind herself that she was now just a girl learning how to live a normal life until she got used to it completely. Hitoyoshi told her that he was happy that she had chosen to stay with him despite everything that had happened in the past. So, he was curious to know more about her now that she had become a source of security and trust for him. She told him that the reason she loved it when he rested his head on her was that it reminded her of the first time she had succeeded in doing something for him, and she wanted to do it every time he had a bad dream. He confessed to her that the dream he had just had was not that bad, as at the end of the dream a hero appeared to embrace him, and it was this hero who made him feel reassured. Yuki woke up the next day and started her usual work as she did every day, feeling happy and warm and enjoying her normal life as a maid. In the evening, Yuki went shopping and bought the ingredients she needed to make curry. Then she ran into a little girl who came up to her and said she'd been watching her the whole time and admired how cute she was. The girl told her she wanted to be like her and asked if she could buy clothes like the ones she was wearing, since they weren't the kind of clothes people usually wore. Yuki felt confused. Then she ran into Hitoyoshi, who was in the library near the market, so she took the opportunity to ask him if it was really illogical to wear a maid's uniform outside the house. Hitoyoshi decided to go shopping with her the next day to buy new clothes. The next day, Hitoyoshi was surprised to see Riko and Grace at the shopping center. When he asked them why they were there, Riko told him that she had decided to accompany them to help Yuki choose the right clothes, while Grace told them that she had decided to come after overhearing their conversation, and that she did not trust his choices when it came to girls' clothes. When Grace and Riko were busy getting to know each other, Hitoyoshi took the opportunity to slip away and go check out the stores. He then took Yuki and they went to check out the clothes at the first store, but she ended up choosing another maid outfit in a different color. Hitoyoshi felt that she would look more attractive in this outfit than the previous one, and noticed that she was choosing her clothes based on their practicality. Grace decided to intervene and choose clothes that were suitable for her, and Yuki ended up looking like a a nightclub waitress. Yuki refused to choose this type of clothing because it was revealing and she would not be able to hide her knives. Hitoyoshi was surprised that she still liked to carry her knives with her everywhere, even though she had left the world of crime. She told him that she felt comfortable just having her weapons with her, even if they were hidden. They decided to go to another store, and Yuki tried on different types of normal clothes. When the girls asked Hitoyoshi what kind of clothes he would like to see her wear, he felt that a simple summer dress would be appropriate for her. After they finished shopping for clothes, Riko noticed a Halloween exhibition nearby and was curious to check it out. She then decided to choose a special costume for Hitoyoshi to wear this year for Halloween. The four of them ended up choosing their own costumes, while Hitoyoshi settled for wearing clothes similar to Harry Potter's. He got excited when he noticed that the store was showing his favorite zombie movie series, while Yuki got nervous when she realized that they would have to go to the cinema, remembering how movie theaters had seemed like strategic locations for assassinating her targets in the past. After they all went to see the movie together, Yuki was terrified by the idea of zombies, which surprised the rest of them since she was a mercenary who had previously lived off bloodshed. She told them that she couldn't stand the smell of rotting corpses and that they were already dead, so she wouldn't be able to kill them if they attacked her. As she trembled with fear, Hitoyoshi realized that normal life for her was a thing of the past, so she couldn't distinguish between what was normal and what was abnormal. Grace sarcastically described her as eccentric. In the evening, they all left the shopping center and were on their way home when a girl with pink hair watched them closely. Then a mysterious man pulled her violently and scolded her for not living up to her family's expectations and called her Naka. It turned out that this person was her older brother Tatsu, who was supervising her training, and she was forced to follow him in the end. On the other hand, Hitoyoshi decided to drive Riko home after Grace left them. When Yuki was left alone, she kept staring at her reflection in the glass and remembered the first time she wore a maid's uniform. After arriving home, she remained distracted for some time before returning to wear the maid's uniform again. When she started to continue her work, she realized that she had neglected the house because she had been away for so long, so she decided to start cleaning the house before Hitoyoshi arrived. Meanwhile, Hitoyoshi was on his way home and was surprised to see lightning in the sky. He hoped that Yuki had arrived home safely. Yuki was trembling with fear, especially after the power went out, and she couldn't stop imagining zombies breaking into the house to devour her. Then she heard a noise coming from the living room, so she went to check it out, expecting zombies to break into the house. When she grabbed her knife, Mochidaru appeared out of nowhere, covered in towels, causing her to attack him and tear his towel to shreds. After that, Hitoyoshi returned home, and she had to tell him what had happened, feeling ashamed. She decided to try to repair the towel with everything she had. Then he noticed that she was wearing the maid's uniform again and wondered if she didn't like the new clothes. She told him that she was happy with the clothes she had bought, but that the maid's uniform was an important gift to her as it had been given to her by her former master, and she felt that it was the only link between her and him after his death. She realized what he meant when he told her one day that he didn't mind if she decided to stop working as a mercenary. She added that she wanted to continue wearing the maid outfit even if it seemed strange to others, and wondered if it was normal to think that way. Hitoyoshi told her that there was nothing wrong with thinking the way she wanted to, and that it was natural for her to have things she liked and things she disliked, such as her fear of zombies. He then advised her to follow her instincts in every step she took in her new life. As they were talking, he noticed that Mochidaru was moving around a lot, carrying a piece of the torn towel. He realized that it was the same towel they had found in his possession when they adopted him, and thought that it might contain the scent of his parents, which is why he continued to cling to it. Then Yuki asked him to let her fix the towel before making dinner, after she understood how Mochidaru felt, since the bell-shaped earring was the only link between her and her long-lost younger sister. Hitoyoshi was shocked to learn that she had a younger sister. The next day, Hitoyoshi went to see Grace and asked her about Yuki's younger sister. She told him that she had no idea where she was, and he felt angry that he had not obtained any useful information after going to the trouble of buying ramen for her. Grace told him that she would make an effort equal to that ramen to investigate her, then sat down to enjoy it and told him that 80% of the reason she had stayed in Japan until now was because of the delicious ramen. When she turned to Yuki, she was surprised to see her putting katsudon sauce on it and considered it an insult to the taste of ramen. Yuki found that she was about to run out of sauce, and when she went with Hitoyoshi to buy more, she was shocked when the restaurant owner told her that she had completely run out as the students were buying the sauce daily and their katsudon festival was approaching and they would not be able to prepare enough to meet the demand. She would have to wait a week before she could buy more. Yuki had no choice but to try to make what she had last for a week, while Hitoyoshi thought of a way to cheer her up a little and asked her what she would like to say to her younger sister when she saw her. She told him that her childhood memories were vague, which would make it difficult for her to recognize her sister when she saw her, and that she found herself alone when she began to become aware of everything around her, and all she remembered was the bell she wore. She added that their mother had given each of them one, and after they were separated, she decided to continue wearing it in the hope that her sister would find her. But after 10 years, she had lost hope of ever seeing her again, and she was afraid of the moment they would meet and that her sister would hold a grudge against her. Hitoyoshi wondered if he had made a mistake in thinking of seeking Grace's help, but Yuki denied it and told him that she would be happy to know that her sister was safe, even if they never met again. While they were talking, they were surprised to see Taiga and Kobachi appear in front of them and hear their conversation. Hitoyoshi asked what they were doing there, and Taiga told him that he had managed to get a limited edition copy of his favorite artist's album. He remembered that this artist would be attending the Katsuta festival soon. Kobachi then expressed his dissatisfaction with Hitoyoshi's recent neglect of them in favor of his eccentric relatives, who had suddenly begun to appear. Taiga Taiga was happy for him because he seemed to be enjoying himself since Yuki's appearance, as he had been going through a miserable period in his life and often rebelled against his father. As Taiga continued to mock him and reveal more about his pitiful past, Hitoyoshi felt like he wanted to disappear out of sheer embarrassment. When Taiga got to the part about him not cleaning his house, he shut his mouth and warned him that he would pay the price if he said another word. Then Taiga was surprised to see his CD fall from his hand on its way to the drain. So Yuki wanted to catch it and put her bag in the direction of the falling CD. But in return, she dropped the sauce bottle from her hand and ended up watching the sauce spill on the floor after the bottle broke. Yuki became depressed after dreaming that Katsuda sauce now hated her and would never let her eat it again, and she felt that life was meaningless. When Hitoyoshi entered her room the next day and she told him what had happened, he tried to comfort her and told her that she would be able to buy more next week. 3 days later, Yuki couldn't sleep because of her nightmares, so she took her pillow and went to Hitoyoshi's room to ask him to sleep next to her. He was confused because he was studying for tomorrow's exam, so he suggested that they talk until she was ready to sleep. Yuki then told him that he was a kind person and that she had noticed that those around him cared deeply about him. She wondered if he had ever felt hatred towards anyone, and he told her that he didn't know if he had ever felt hatred towards anyone before, but then thought that perhaps the feelings he had towards his father were a form of hatred. He added that many things had happened between them in the past, which was why he preferred to stay away from him all the time. Yuki remembered a glimpse of her past when her younger sister told her that she hated her, so she decided to return to her room quietly. When Yuki tried to fall asleep, she dreamed of the empty sauce bottle blaming her for abandoning her younger sister and always causing trouble for Hitoyoshi. She told her that she was trying her best to become a normal person. Then she remembered when she was little and was known as Maria, and she was fluent in 15 languages. In addition to her keen observation skills and strong memory at the time, she was hosted on a popular television show, and her parents watched her proudly from behind the scenes. After that, they returned home together and celebrated her 7th birthday. Then there was a knock at the door, and when her parents went to check it out, she suddenly screamed at them not to open the door, but they ignored her and continued on their way until they disappeared from her sight. Yuki returned to the dream world again and began to blame herself for the death of her parents after she was kidnapped. Then she remembered that she had become emotionless after ending up alone, working as a mercenary. Then she remembered when she told her sister what she was doing to earn a living and told her that she hated her. She then took off the bell and threw it at her before leaving, never to return. Yuki had no choice but to continue living as a murderer and do what she had to do to stay alive. When her teacher appeared in front of her and approached her to pat her on the head, she woke up after hearing Hitoyoshi's voice and found him standing next to her bed, telling her that he had come to check on her after sensing that something was wrong. She hugged him and pulled him to sleep next to her, begging him to stay like that, even if only for a short while. Hitoyoshi realized that she had had a nightmare, so she told him that it was more than just a nightmare for her and apologized that she couldn't remember everything she had seen. He patted her to stop her from crying and told her that patting was like the sound of a mother's heartbeat, which makes children stop crying. Yuki felt warm from his presence near her and quickly fell asleep again after she calmed down. The next day, they met their friends in science class, and Taiga was surprised to learn that she knew nothing about the Katsuda festival. He told her that it was a sports, cultural, and music festival all at once. He added that the festival was a traditional celebration for their high school, where each class participated in the 3 activities and competed for an overall ranking. One of the prizes for the winning class was a specially prepared Katsuda sauce. Kobachi then told her that it was impossible for second-year students like them to win the festival, making third-year students the most likely candidates to win, and that they would have to improve their academic performance in order to do well. Hitoyoshi then asked Yuki about her last exam, and she told him that she made sure not to fail. He expressed his admiration for her intelligence and told her that this would reflect positively on her in the festival, as she would be able to participate if she got a passing grade at the very least. Yuki was worried because she had received a grade below average, so Taiga told her that she would have to work twice as hard to ensure her participation in the festival events. During the break, they met Grace, who had gone to the trouble of bringing katsudan bread especially for Yuki. When Yuki expressed her gratitude, she felt something strange, as if she had forgotten that she had recently kidnapped Hitoyoshi, and she began to treat her with unusual kindness. Then she asked them to leave so she could correct the exams before the start of gym class. After that, Yuki wondered what she should do to help her class win the Katsuda festival. Before leaving with Hitoyoshi, Grace told her that she had handed in the exam paper without writing her name on it, which meant that if she failed this exam, she would not be able to participate in the festival. Grace's words hit Yuki like a bolt from the blue when she realized that she had forgotten to write her name on the paper. In addition, she had gotten an excellent grade, so Hitoyoshi asked her to let her write her name on the paper. She told them that she would not do so without compensation, and that the compensation would be for Yuki to leave the katsudan sauce at home when she went to eat ramen from now on. While she was talking, Yuki used her skills to move quickly and without Grace noticing, and wrote her name on the exam paper. Grace was shocked when she read her name, as she hadn't noticed when she had done it. Hitoyoshi told her that she might have been imagining things from the start. Grace felt angry that the situation had turned against her, and before leaving, she vowed that she would not be lenient with them next time. After Grace left, Hitoyoshi wondered how she had managed to do that, while Yuki was also confused. It turned out that it was Naka who had written her name on the paper, as she wanted to be helpful to her for some reason. While Naka was hiding behind the wall, she was surprised that they realized her presence. After Yuki expressed her gratitude to her, she blushed with embarrassment and felt confused, stammering until she calmed down and introduced herself to them, them, telling them that she had a way to ensure their victory in the Katsuta Cultural Festival. As for Naka's life, she is just a girl who devotes herself to training in her family's fighting style under the supervision of her older brother Tatsu, who carries the family legacy on his shoulders all the time and always scolds her and urges her to be disciplined when she fails. Naka feels frustrated whenever she unintentionally disappoints her brother, while Tatsu hides his excessive concern for his younger sister and pretends to be tough in order to maintain his emotional stability. A few days later, the Katsuta Festival began, and Tatsu was in charge of security for the festival. He thought he should focus his attention on Yuki, who was still a mystery to him, and he was also concerned because she was in the same class as Naka. He instructed his followers to watch her and make sure she was not one of his family's enemies seeking revenge. He did so. On the other hand, Hitoyoshi's class set up their own CA, and while they were preparing their equipment, Naka told him that she felt that Tatsu did not like her, and that all he cared about was her training results, and that he wanted her to become perfect using the family's fighting style, even though she was weak. Hitoyoshi realized that the reason for her urgent desire to win the festival was to prove to her brother that she was not useless, so he told her that they were able to obtain information that would help them win thanks to her. Naka tells him that the next competition is called Cops and Robbers, which is based on individual athletic ability, and that each class participates by selecting only 3 students. While she is talking, they are surprised by the appearance of a huge box of katsudon sauce, and it turns out that Taiga is wearing a costume. Hitoyoshi was surprised that he intended to participate in the festival in this appearance, so he told him that he had decided to participate in the Cops and Robbers competition with Naka and Yuki, and vowed to bring victory to their class and make sure to defeat the student council president's team, which was basically Tatsu. Meanwhile, Tatsu was sitting in his sister's class cafe, furious at the idea that Yuki was trying to incite his sister to rebel against him and stir up strife between them, and he vowed to take revenge on her. After that, Hitoyoshi sat down to eat with his friends before the competition started and remembered that some television stations would be covering the festival and wondered if Yuki would get in trouble if she was filmed. Then he found Riko joining them, so they went to talk to her while Yuki and Naka sat watching them. When Naka asked her if she had any friends, since she never had any, she hesitated before asking her to be her friend. Yuki didn't mind, and when she smiled at her, Naka felt happy. When Hitoyoshi asked her if she wanted to accompany them to the cultural festival, she felt confused and ran away, wondering if she would be able to remain friends with Yuki if she discovered her true identity. Meanwhile, Yuki asked Hitoyoshi about the meaning of being a friend to someone. After that, Naka went to the meeting room of the festival's executive committee and tried to use her supernatural ability to eavesdrop on them from a distance. She was shocked when she realized that there were rules for the competition that she knew nothing about. Then the Cops and Robbers competition began, and the special commentator Rinka explained the rules of the competition to the audience. Tatsu's team would have to catch all the robbers and put them in jail to win, and they would lose if even one robber escaped. Meanwhile, Yuki was forced to disguise herself in a wolf costume given to her by Hitoyoshi in order to hide her face so that no one would be surprised by the appearance of the mercenaries who were after her and spoiling the festival. Tatsu couldn't resist his sister's cuteness as she wore a pink rabbit costume. Then he felt angry when he found her hiding behind Yuki and vowed to teach her a harsh lesson. Then the match began, and Tatsu charged like a raging bull toward Yuki's team and continued to hold everyone in his grip one by one until only Yuki, Naka, and Taiga remained. Taiga noticed that Nazca was looking at him, so he gained confidence to try to impress her. But before he could move, Tatsu managed to take him down. Then he turned his attention to Yuki, so Naka suggested that they split up to distract him. However, Yuki realized that they had been too slow in making their decision, and when Tatsu grabbed her, she felt a strong aura of violence emanating from him. Yuki tried to resist him with all her might, while Naka kept thinking about how to help Yuki overcome her brother. Then she decided to use the gas in her suit and succeeded in distracting Tatsu and blocking his vision. Despite this, he managed to grab her and throw her to his team's side, leaving Yuki alone to face him. Yuki remembered what Hitoyoshi had told her about friends, that a friend is someone she can have fun with and share trivial things with. He told her that he had gone through some difficult times in the past, and that the only 2 people who had not abandoned him then were Taiga and Kobachi, so he felt grateful to them all the time and wished he could help them. One day, Yuki realized that friendship has a deep meaning that differs from person to person. On the other hand, Tatsu prepared to win the match for his team, even though he couldn't control himself after realizing that he had just mistakenly used violence against his younger sister. Yuki thought she would give herself 2 minutes by avoiding him as much as possible, even though it would be difficult because of the smell of katsudon sauce coming from him. When the clash between them began, Tatsu was surprised that he couldn't move her despite his strength, while he was thinking about getting her. All Yuki could think about during the fight was that she was starving. Tatsu began to direct his anger towards her and wondered why she was getting so close to Naka, even though she didn't know anything about her. He told her that she would cause his sister to sink into the depths of despair and decided to get rid of her before she hurt Naka. But he soon ended up falling to the ground after a sudden move from Yuki. She then rushed towards Naka to free her from prison, and when she reached her, she told her that she now understood the meaning of friendship because she already had someone special in her life, and she would be happy if she could become someone special in her life too. While she was preoccupied with her romantic moment with Naka, she didn't notice Tatsu rushing towards her and grabbing her a few seconds before the final whistle blew, announcing his team as the winners of the competition. Hitoyoshi was surprised that Yuki didn't understand the rules of the game and let him grab her, considering that she had freed Naka. Then he felt that they would be in trouble when he found journalists waiting to interview the contestants. On the other hand, Naka realized the same thing and decided wanted to help Yuki, so she threw a gas bomb at the journalist and managed to escape with her. Then Tatsu was shocked when he found that he was carrying Taiga instead of Yuki, who had died. In the blink of an eye, in the evening, Naka apologized for causing the team to lose, but Yuki told her that they lost because of her misunderstanding of the rules of the competition, as all she was thinking about at the time was freeing her and wanted to gain her trust so that they could become close friends. Then Tatsu joined them to take Naka home, and he felt resentful at the idea of Yuki being around his sister to flatter her all the time, and he promised her before he left that in the future he would not spare people like her who wanted to mislead Naka. After that, the closing party for the festival began, and Yuki just sat and watched from a distance. When Hitoyoshi joined her, he asked if she was disappointed about losing the competition, and she told him that she had mixed feelings. Ever since she heard about the festival, she had been excited and had goosebumps, but when the competition ended, she felt like she didn't want the festival to end. Hitoyoshi realized that she was having so much fun that she forgot the rules of the competition because she was so excited. Yuki understood that this was what it meant to enjoy oneself. When she asked about the end of the festival, he told her that this was their first participation this year and that they had to make a plan for next year so that they could win. Yuki thought that she had never made a long-term plan before, as she had been living with the idea that she could lose her life at any moment, but now she had several possibilities and could think about various things that had not occupied her mind in the past. As the days passed, Yuki and Naka became friends, and Naka began visiting her at home. One day, she showed Yuki and Hitoyoshi her marksmanship skills and told them that she usually didn't show her skills to anyone outside her family. Hitoyoshi felt a sense of fei vu, as her skills were very similar to Yuki's as a mercenary. When he expressed his admiration for her, she told him that she was not as skilled and talented as her brother and wished that she did not know her family's fighting style and could live a normal life. Yuki told her that she shared the same feeling, as she was still trying to discover what it meant to live a normal life. As they talked, Hitoyoshi felt comfortable with their harmony, but was soon surprised to hear Grace's voice behind him, accusing him of being on the verge of fulfilling his dream of establishing his own harem clan by surrounding himself with many girls. He tried to convince her that she had misunderstood, but he was confused enough to prove her guess correct. While Yuki was showing off her skills in front of Naka, she threw one of her knives at Grace when she felt that she was trying to get close to him in an inappropriate way. Grace felt angry and told her not to forget that she had asked her to help her find her sister. Naka was surprised to see Grace at Hitoyoshi's house, and when she introduced herself, Grace told her that she knew her well, especially since she was the one who wrote Yuki's name on her exam paper. Hitoyoshi asked her why she had come, and she told him that she was going on a business trip to China to use her connections with some old acquaintances to help them find Yuki's sister, since China was Yuki and her sister's original home. She then expressed her disappointment that she would not be able to spend Christmas with them. Before leaving, she sarcastically told Yuki to make sure to have an exciting time with Hitoyoshi, which made Naka curious to know if they were lovers. Hitoyoshi felt confused and told her that they were just cousins, but Naka told them that she had been watching them for a while and felt that they would make a perfect couple. At that time, Yuki was still thinking about her old acquaintances and told them that no one had cared about her in the past, and she was content to live alone, but now she was happy to add more people she wanted to protect in her life. Hitoyoshi felt that Yuki was filled with many positive emotions. Then he received a surprise message from his father telling him that he would be returning to Japan by Christmas. The next day, Hitoyoshi and Yuki sat in the backyard of the house and made a small snowman out of the snow falling around his house. He told her that he used to make them when he was a child, and Yuki was excited to make one herself. But it looked a little strange. Hitoyoshi felt that her snowman represented her, as he was trying his best to be round, just as she was trying her best to continue living normally. However, her snowman was soon destroyed after Age Machitaro jumped on it. Yuki was disappointed by the death of her snowman and wondered if there was a way to bring him back to life, but Hitoyoshi received a call and had to go back inside the house so he could talk comfortably. After the call ended, he told her that he needed to go and meet Riko and asked her to take care of the house until he returned. In the evening, Hitoyoshi was on his way home, and Yuki had told him in advance that she wanted to meet him on his way back. He thought she might want to have dinner at a restaurant, but when he looked around, he found that all the places were crowded with people. Then he noticed that there was an excessive crowd around the Christmas tree. He was curious to check it out, and was surprised to see Yuki dressed in casual clothes standing in front of the tree with everyone staring at her as if she were from another planet. When he asked her what she was doing there, she told him she had been waiting for him, then gave him her scarf to keep him warm and asked him to go out on a date with her together that night. Hitoyoshi was shocked by her bold and unexpected request, and when he asked her why, she told him that Riko had told her that he would be happy if they went on a date together, as she had contacted her after his departure and told her that he had some worries weighing on him lately. Yuki added that she had noticed he had been looking gloomy lately for some reason, which prompted her to think of a way to ease his burden. Hitoyoshi felt both stunned and grateful to her at the same time, and he took her hand so they could begin their date together. As they walked together through the streets, Hitoyoshi felt that Yuki looked like a child in the body of an adult woman. She interrupted him with a question about where he wanted to go, and he told her that they should start with dinner first. Then his attention was drawn to the snow falling on the lights. He told her that when snow falls on lights, it makes them sparkle more, and that is one of the reasons he loves snow. Yuki felt that he meant her by his words for some reason, which made her feel happy. Hitoyoshi blushed with embarrassment when he realized what he had said, and he felt her hand gently holding his. Before Yuki had her date with Hitoyoshi, she was at home following Riko's instructions on choosing the right clothes to attract his attention. Riko told her to show him her sexy feminine side to to make him fall in love with her, so she decided to do her best to make him see her as more beautiful than snow. The next day, Hitoyoshi went to see his sister and told her what had happened with Yuki the day before. He asked her if she thought she was the type of person who had romantic feelings for someone. Riko couldn't answer his question, and when he asked her how she felt about him, she thought about it carefully and decided to use a love test app on her phone to find out. Hitoyoshi wasn't convinced at first, but she told him he had nothing to lose and started asking him questions. When she got to the last question, she asked him if Yuki had told him she loved him beyond just confessing her feelings, and he told her that hadn't happened yet, remembering her reaction yesterday. Riko told him that according to the app, they shared the same feelings 96% of the time and encouraged him to go and confess his love to her, while Hitoyoshi was worried about the remaining 4% and that this might be the bitter truth. After that, Yuki joined them after returning from the market, and after she started preparing food, Hitoyoshi realized that he had no difficulty having a normal conversation with her. So perhaps what he felt yesterday was due to the romantic Christmas atmosphere. Then he was surprised by Riko's decision to give Yuki a love test as well, which made him die of embarrassment. After she finished the test, Riko was surprised that their chance of reciprocating feelings was 196%, confirming that they were the perfect match for each other. After that, the three of them sat down to dinner together, and Hitoyoshi found his sister telling Yuki without warning about his behavior when he was a child. He felt embarrassed that Yuki would find out that he was a naughty child in the past, and he felt angry at Riko's endless chatter. He tried to kick her under the table to shut her up, but to no avail. He sensed that something was wrong, and when he looked under the table, he discovered that he was kicking Yuki's leg, which put him in an unenviable position after she thought he was secretly trying to flirt with her. Hitoyoshi tried to confess his love to a girl he used to hang out with, but she rejected him and told him that what he felt was just a desire to have company. He ended up alone since that day and doesn't know what love feels like. Hitoyoshi remembered that her response hurt him more than a normal rejection, and he thought that if she was right in describing his feelings, then he had no idea how he felt about Yuki. The next day, he ended up unable to sleep after allowing Yuki to come and sleep next to him whenever she felt restless. Hitoyoshi tried to get out of bed without disturbing her, and as he was sneaking out of the room, he found that she had finally woken up, so he left the room, blaming himself for allowing her to sleep with him in the same bed. When Yuki came out to check on him, he told her that he wanted to start cleaning the house early for the new year. Then he went to the bathroom and decided to put an end to his complicated relationship with Yuki, but for a moment he felt that nothing would change if he confessed his feelings to her. On the other hand, Yuki started cleaning the house and was doing her best to make it a clean place, but she ended up slipping after Age Mochidaru spilled water under her. Hitoyoshi realized that the dog had caused her trouble. When she got up, he blushed with embarrassment at the sight of parts of her body after her clothes became transparent due to the water. He quickly recovered and rushed to the bathroom, where he realized that Yuki had not changed at all since their first meeting and considered everyone to be her family. He felt confused about ruining all this by confessing his love to her and was afraid that she would reject him as she had in the past and leave him suffering from loneliness again. Then Yuki interrupted his thoughts by asking if he was feeling sick. He rushed out and told her she was fine and was surprised to find her sitting in a position that suggested she wanted him to rest his head on her. He decided to get out of this situation before things got worse and told her he felt embarrassed by her behavior, as a boy his age would not ask a girl to do that for him. Then Yuki started crying, thinking that he was tired of her or that she wasn't comforting him as she should. Hitoyoshi felt that he was in trouble and had no idea what to do to fix the situation. He ended up asking her to use the bathroom to dry herself off. After that, he sat alone, blaming himself for how things had turned out between them, while Yuki lost control of herself after crying for the first time in a long time and started crying over the smallest things, which made Hitoyoshi confused about how he could get her to stop crying, or at least control it. He ended up suffering from insomnia for 2 days after she started sleeping next to him, and he was forced to sleep on the sofa, but he couldn't sleep deeply and became nervous because New Year's Day was approaching. On New Year's Day, Yuki found a note from Hitoyoshi on the table telling her that he had gone out and would be back soon. She decided to go out and get their favorite food so they could have dinner together, but unfortunately, she found that Katsuda restaurant was closed for the holidays, as were most of the stores. She had to go to the shopping center, where she found many end-of-year sales and discounts, and was able to buy some food to prepare at home. When she returned, she found that Hitoyoshi had come back and was already preparing the food. Hitoyoshi told her that he had decided to prepare her favorite food, and she was surprised to find that he had bought roast lamb, the same thing she had bought earlier, which made her start crying without warning. Hitoyoshi cooked the meat she had brought to calm her down, and they sat down to eat dinner together. He told her that she didn't have to eat so much, but when she started eating, she cried with every bite, which made him feel frustrated that he had failed to cheer her up. At night, Hitoyoshi sat on the sofa and began to think about his father's return the next day. He soon fell asleep while thinking, so Yuki gave him a blanket. The next day, they welcomed Riko, who came to visit them for the new year. When she wanted the three of them to go out for a walk, Yuki told her that Hitoyoshi was fast asleep and wouldn't wake up no matter how hard she tried. Riko felt that they were in a predicament, and when she asked Yuki why, she told her that it was Hitoyoshi's birthday and that it was their family tradition to gather after visiting the shrine every new year. As she was talking, she was surprised to see Yuki crying for the first time. She told her that she felt as if her tears had been trapped inside her by a dam, and that this dam had recently broken for some reason, causing her to cry no matter what the reason. She preferred to stay at home rather than disturb them and spoil the festive atmosphere. Riko decided to go without waiting for Hitoyoshi, as she had already planned to go out with her friends. When Yuki returned to him, she noticed that her phone phone was lying on the ground and found that she had received a message from Naka suggesting that they visit the shrine together. Yuki changed her clothes and headed to the shrine, where she found Naka waiting for her. Naka admired her new clothes and was surprised when Yuki told her that she was unaware of the tradition of visiting the shrine on New Year's Day. Naka began to explain to her that people visit the shrine to offer their wishes for the new year to the gods. Then Yuki noticed the box containing fortune slips, and Naka suggested that she take one. Yuki was excited to try it, and Naka was happy that she had taught her something new as a friend. However, she was quickly surprised when Yuki started crying after getting a bad fortune slip. Yuki felt that the paper indicated that she and Hitoyoshi would break up, and that he had been acting strangely lately, which made her realize that he no longer needed her. Naka realized that this was the reason for her constant crying and told her that she had been unable to control her tears like her after her mother's death. She then added that she remembered what she had told her before, that people cry when they need to release the sad feelings inside them. So she should cry as much as she wanted until the sadness inside her was gone, and she should not be ashamed of it. Then she waited until Yuki finished crying and went to recite a prayer to the gods, guiding her on the correct way to pray. Yuki felt that everyone always took care of her and wished to the gods that she could stay with them forever. On the other hand, Hitoyoshi was still sleeping like a sloth while his father was trying to call him. After his plane arrived, but to no avail, Naka was surprised to learn that it was Hitoyoshi's birthday today, and imagined him spending the day with Yuki, enjoying the night sky after she brought him his present. Yuki told her that she had no idea what present to get him. She suggested that she try to get him something he likes. Yuki thought that he likes the tonkatsu at Katsuda restaurant and dolls, so she decided to go to the shopping center to buy a new doll for him. When they arrived at the doll section, she saw one that looked like the one she had seen in his room one day. Yuki found that she was in front of a lucky machine and had to pay a lot of money to get the doll she wanted, so she decided to try her best to get his favorite doll. After several attempts, she ended up failing to get the doll in the picture, which made her burst into tears. Meanwhile, Hitoyoshi's father arrived at the shopping center, and when he found her crying, he offered to teach her a spell to chant when she couldn't get something she wanted. He then told her to wipe her tears, as these machines, which were essentially the embodiment of evil, were not worth crying over. He added that she should take what she wanted herself and not rely on the gods to get it for her. He began to encourage her with motivational phrases until Yuki became enthusiastic and decided to try one last time, and this time she succeeded in getting the doll. Yuki expressed her gratitude to Hitoyoshi for helping her, and he told her that he remembered saying the same thing to his son and couldn't stand idly by when he saw her tears. Then he left quietly, and Yuki was amazed that he was considerate of others' feelings and treated them kindly even if they were strangers. On the other hand, Riko delivered a crushing blow to Hitoyoshi's head to wake him up, to the point that his head was almost split in half. She told him that their father was about to arrive at any moment, while Hitoyoshi noticed the message Yuki had left him before she left. He felt worried because he hadn't talked to her about his father yet. Riko was surprised that they lived together, and yet he hadn't had the chance to tell her. He told her that just because someone is close to you doesn't mean you can talk to them about anything. Then he remembered his mother and felt angry that he hadn't been able to ask her why she had left so suddenly, and he couldn't ask his father about his miserable expression at the time. In addition, this was the first time he had felt afraid of him. He ended up living with a nanny after his father moved abroad for work and rarely came home. Even though many years have passed, he still doesn't have the courage to ask him why he lives apart from his mother, for fear of discovering that he is somehow responsible for the breakup of the family. He was also afraid of his reaction when he found out that Yuki had been hired as his maid and would be living with him in the same house. Then his thoughts were interrupted by a letter he received from Naka, asking him to try to cheer Yuki up as she seemed sad after getting a bad fortune slip. At the same time, Yuki returned home and surprised Riko when she saw her eyes swollen from crying. Yuki decided to go and quickly change her clothes. Hitoyoshi wanted to tell her about his father coming today and that he had not yet told him about her previous job or that he had hired a maid, but he felt confused while talking and preferred to remain silent. Then he decided to be brave and act like a hero to protect Yuki from his father's reaction, no matter what the cost. At that moment, his father arrived, and Riko rushed towards him to hug him, while Hitoyoshi simply welcomed him from afar. Then he gathered his confidence and told him about the new maid and her previous employment record. While he was talking, his father was surprised to see Yuki in her work uniform and realized that she was the girl he had met at the shopping center. Then he sat down to talk to her, and it turned out that he knew her former master. As they exchanged pleasantries, Hitoyoshi marveled at the idea that they had met before and realized that there was a side to his father's personality that he did not yet know. After finding him talking kindly to Yuki despite knowing that she was a mercenary, there was also a side to Yuki's personality that he did not know, which made him feel like he was listening to a conversation between two strangers inside a mistake. Then he began to feel as rejected and lonely as he had been before, because they knew each other, and negative thoughts began to creep into his mind. When he found his father joking with Riko, he thought that he had always been humorous or remained silent if there was something he wanted to hide or avoid confronting. Then he suddenly realized that he had always kept his feelings and what he wanted to say to himself so as not to upset others, which had a negative effect on him. At that moment, his father decided to take Riko home to talk to their mother for a while. She felt resentful and told him that she wanted to spend time with her brother on his birthday, so he told her that he didn't celebrate it. He then gave Hitoyoshi a bag containing a gift from him and his mother and told them that he would have to stay at a hotel that day to attend an important business meeting. When he started to leave, Hitoyoshi felt angry that he was letting him go without expressing what was inside him. He decided to gather his strength to tell him what he wanted and approached him to tell him that he wanted Yuki to stay with him at home. home. His father looked at him, smiled, and told him that he had the right to do what he wanted, now that he was 16 and that he would just tell his mother. After he left, Hitoyoshi felt happy that he had been able to express what was inside him for the first time and wondered if he had succeeded in protecting Yuki as he should. Then he was surprised to receive a call from him, and when he answered, he told him that he wanted to talk to Yuki. He had to give her the phone, and then he asked her if she was unhappy with her current situation at home with Hitoyoshi. She told him that she was fine and that his son was taking good care of her. He told her that Hitoyoshi had changed, or rather, was trying to change, and that it was because she was by his side. He expressed his gratitude to her and asked her to take good care of him. Yuki felt happy and didn't hesitate to suggest to Hitoyoshi that they go see the night sky together. That night, when he agreed, she carried him and jumped onto the roof of the building where they sat waiting for night to fall. Then she gathered her courage to give him her birthday present. However, she ended up with her head down after seeing that the doll she had gone to great lengths to bring had been broken, with only the head remaining intact. When Hitoyoshi saw her, he realized that no one would understand him if he continued to keep his feelings to himself for too long. He then told her that this doll was from an anime character that had been released 10 years ago, which he was addicted to watching, and that he had pestered his father to buy him merchandise related to this anime. He remembered that when he was a child, he saw his father as his role model, as if he were a superhero. He added that he felt like he didn't know anything about his father since his mother's death, which made him feel frustrated because his father's image as a superhero in his eyes had collapsed to the point that he became afraid of him and avoided talking to him so as not to hurt his feelings. He ended up avoiding him for 10 years until he realized that he no longer knew how they could be a family after all this time. Despite this, he did not want the same thing to happen to her as had happened to him, and he was ready to be her own family, one that would not let her down and that she could talk to whenever she wanted. When he told her that he wanted her to be part of his family, Yuki remembered her real family and quickly began to cry with happiness. She told him that she wanted to be part of his family, and then Hitoyoshi mustered enough confidence to tell her openly that he loved her. She confessed her feelings to him and told him that she loved him, which made him want to cry. When he returned home, he repaired the doll and placed it on the shelf in his room. He felt relieved that he had been able to express his feelings without fear, and then he began to cry with happiness. The next day, Yuki was doing her work as usual, remembering what had happened yesterday between her and Hitoyoshi, which made her heart race. For the first time in a while, she didn't cry when she felt anything.